Egypt was always African, and here's why that matters. Most people argue about whether Egypt was African, but that argument only exists because ancient Africa is being read through a modern racist idea. To understand this correctly, we have to start with the original names: Kemet, Nubia, and Kush, names given by ancient Greek. Now, let's walk through this. Kemet is the original name for what we now call Egypt. The word Kemet means the black land, referring to the rich, black soil left behind by the Nile floods, not skin color. Kemet was an African civilization with its own writing system, spiritual beliefs, science, and political structure. In the ancient world, identity was based on land, language, and culture, not modern race. South of Kemet was a region known as Nubia. Nubia wasn't a single country. It was a geographic region along the Nile, rich in gold, trade routes, and military power. Nubia and Kemet interacted for thousands of years through trade, war, marriage, and shared religious ideas. This was Africa interacting with other Africans. Inside Nubia existed powerful kingdoms, the most famous being Kush. At different times, Kush had capitals at Kerma, Napata, and later Meroe. During the 25th dynasty, Kushite kings ruled over Kemet as pharaohs. They didn't conquer Egypt to change it. They ruled as legitimate African kings. The term Black Pharaohs is a modern label created by European historians. Ancient people did not divide themselves by race the way we do today. Here's the key difference people miss. Nubia is the region. Kush is a kingdom within that region. So when you hear Kushite pharaohs, you're hearing about a Nubian kingdom ruling Kemet, not a separate race. Kush rose, fell, and moved its capital over time. First Kerma, then Napata, then Meroe, showing that African kingdoms evolved politically just like Rome or China. Kush didn't replace Nubia, it rose from within it. The Bible also preserves ancient geographic memory. Kush is mentioned as land. Mizraim is the biblical name for Egypt. These were place names, not racial categories. Later interpretations tried to turn geography into race, which created confusion. The so-called curse of Ham was never a curse on Africa. The text says the curse fell on Canaan, not Kush, not Mizraim, and not Africa. When colonization happened, Africans were taught to read ancient history through European racial ideas. That shift changed how Africa, Egypt, and the Bible were understood. But Africa did not need the Bible to exist. African civilizations are older than the Bible itself. Understanding this doesn't remove spirituality. It restores historical context. So Africa did not enter history through Europe. Europe entered Africa's story later. When Europe was still forming kingdoms, Africa had already been shaping the ancient world. Kemet, Nubia, and Kush were already ancient before biblical texts were written or compiled. It reminds us that Africa wasn't waiting to be discovered, taught, or defined. Greek and Roman writers already described Egypt and Nubia as African lands before modern Europe existed. The Bible preserves ancient places like Kush, Mizraim, showing Africa was part of the biblical world, not outside of it. In the next episode, we'll break down Kush, Israel, and how ancient identities became modern debates. This is Africa before the myths, before colonization, before the confusion. And long before Europe wrote Africa into history, Africa was already written into the ancient world. Stay tuned, stay focused, and stay motivated.